everybody, Jason Bermas here, Jon the Legend Fitch here. Big nights of fights over the weekend, but what was more important, I think, Jon, is the fact that we saw 15,000 people in a crowd in America, and you had to play literally Where's Waldo to find a mask in that massive crowd right there. Me and Militich played it a couple times. We paused it real quick, and we had to look for somebody with a mask. Mm-hmm. But to me, that was the best feeling about this because I didn't like the fact that they put Clear Pass in. That was 100% real. Militich talked to somebody at the fight. They absolutely downloaded the app onto their phone and went through the whole rigmarole of had they been tested.
So
or did
everybody on in the venue had to download the same app.
So here's how they get you, okay? I would probably say 90+% used the app, and those that wanted to opt out of the app had the option to go to a tent and simply fill out a medical questionnaire and have their temperature taken. So as long as you give them all the nice little info in the questionnaire, you pass the tempy taken, and then you get into the Clear Pass system that way, you could get in. But that's another 20 minutes to an hour for you to get in. If you just have the app, you get to go right through the line.
I see. So it's not, you don't have to have it, but it's a class divider.
Well, it's one of those things where even if you wanted to, it's not like this where, let's use the body scanner analogy, right? So back in the day, and I haven't been flying in a while, but I never take the body scanner. I always take the pat down, right? I always take the pat down. Now, there are some people that will still try to put you through a body scanner after the pat down. That to me is this feeling. It's like, well, you're definitely going to give over your information one way or another, but if you don't do it digitally, it's going to take another hour. You know what I mean? And we're still going to put you into the same system, but it's going to take longer. And, I don't know as to exactly what was on that questionnaire. If anybody's out there and can post it, I would love for them to do so. The card, crazy card, right?
Yeah, that was fun. It was a lot of fun. And it was fun to see and hear people react to the fights and to see the entrances. And, yeah.
It's good to be back to normal. Like, forget about their new normal and Bill Gates telling you it's not. Maybe we'll be back to normal by the end of 2022.
I'm in. I think this is by the summer, dude. By July, people are gonna be over it. People are gonna be having open big 4th of July things, because I'm in California and I went on a walk, like Sunday morning or was it Saturday? I can't remember, but yeah, it was Saturday before the fights, and we're walking down the sidewalk in the streets, and there's people out and they don't have masks on. And it's been a year since I saw that. Mm-hmm. People outside on the sidewalk, walking by themselves, no one else around with a mask. Somebody on a bike with a mask. But now I'm seeing it's like one person out of every 20 has still got their mask on.
Well, you're lucky, because let me tell you something. I got a call from my buddy in New York, okay? And basically, so it's the second year in a row now that my college has been able to have their alumni weekend. Right? Everybody was joking around last year. It was big, funny when Jason Bermas was telling them in March they were going to shut down and we weren't going to have alumni weekend because they all thought we would still get together at the end of April, beginning of May, right? So a bunch of them decided to go up there. And remember, Jon, one of the things that triggered me to leave, and I don't mean that in the sissy terminology, but made me act to leave my community, was that on Main Street, they put up signs that said, please wear your mask, or wear your mask, please. And as soon as I saw metal signs on my Main Street, I knew it was over there. So in a direct opposition to what you just said, my buddy was in the small upstate New York town of Oneonta over the weekend, walking down Main Street with a mask, and law enforcement told him to put his mask on. Yes, Jon. Yes. And we're 14 months later, and that is an upstate New York community. In the uncensored portion of the program, we're going to bring up another thing. We had a shooting there right outside of where my kids used to go to school.
Yeah, well, I wonder, upstate. So is that like a wealthy, rich liberal area, no.
But what it is very liberal because why? There's two things. So number one, the closest thing is the Baseball Hall of Fame. Okay, it's about 30 minutes away. That's Cooperstown, New York. That's all rich, old, white money for real. For instance, a lot of people don't know this, but the Baseball Hall of Fame isn't even owned by Major League Baseball. It is actually owned by Jane Forbes Clark. So the Forbes family actually owns that as a private entity. It's one of the ways they're able to keep Pete Rose out. So just to give you an idea of how hard it is to like start a business there, right? They have an ordinance that you can't have anything that's a franchise, so no McDonald's, Burger King, within the town limits. So anything that's fast food is outside of the town of Cooperstown on the next town over, period, right? So the rich money's there. But then I have a state school, right? So the state school is all Long Island kids, New York City kids, 80 to 90%. Their parents are from the city. And then you have a private liberal arts college that did stay open throughout the second time. Like their kids actually stayed. They did the testing, whatever. It's a school of about 2,000 kids, but they're rich Connecticut kids. Mm-hmm. So all the money goes into, yes, liberal politics. There was a Black Lives Matter movement.
There's a lot of people in the same bubble in that area. I'm wondering if because this was over, South San Jose where I'm, my people are. So I wonder if I went around like Palo Alto, where the money is, and I walked my dog around without my mask on, if I'd get harassed,
bro.
Like a hobo.
My brother is still not able to see my niece play sports, and in direct contrast to that, I'm going to my niece's soccer
My boys
games.
are they're starting flag football next weekend.
It's time, right? I mean, we're doing it. We're throwing, John, the maskless Mother's Day picnic.
I haven't seen any. I read the stuff. I haven't seen mentioned about masks for it.
For what?
For football.
For the flag football?
Maybe I need to read through
You better
more.
watch through it. It depends on where you are, right? Like, so, like, for my kids, they're not supposed to wear it, but then for the parents, they're supposed to wear it, right? So, like, I went to the YMCA.
It's a private organization. If, like, you have a problem with it, then sign your kid up.
Look, man, your kid doesn't need a mask on. Your kid needs to be around other kids, and they need to be, again, being human beings with each other. Maskless Mother's Day picnic. Come join us. It's in Bettendorf, Iowa. Bring your mom. It's free. I'm gonna drop literally $500 to $1,000 on food. We're going bigger than burgers and dogs. We'll have ribs. We'll have chicken. We'll have kebabs. It's free. I want you and your mom and your family to have a good time. 5 hours, noon to 5. Frisbees. There's all sorts of good stuff there. I'm gonna be doing a whole intro video for it. As well. But look, man, we don't need to be waiting for 4th of July to let them know whether we can go out and be human beings again. This is madness, right? Like, we're at Madnessville.
It was past madness last spring. It was, it just seems nonsensical now. I mean, it's over. People think it's over. Florida's open. Texas is open. We just had a huge UFC event.
Well, that's not
flag
even
football start next week.
So,
and it's insanity. Just stop.
This is a venue in Auckland, New Zealand over the weekend. That is 50,000 plus people that were together, arm in arm. And Fauci's still telling you can't see your parents or your grandparents without 3 masks and an anal swab. Like, what is going on, folks? And I can't reiterate this enough because even my local politicians now are starting to talk about upticks and Johnny nonsense. And everybody's trying to now talk about variants, John. How many people would you say that have gotten the boop boop?
There's a number of people who mention it out here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the people just say it because it's a cool thing. But no, I've met a few people who've got it or mentioned they've got it.
Well,
but I mean,
I know plenty. But like for me, every time I hear about it, like
you're gonna get to that point where like, yeah, I got it. See, look at my thing.
It's not even like that. It's more like this. Like, so today I had my buddy over. I live my own life and schedule. I decided I was going to grill for lunch. So he's been working. He works for the Associated Press, actually, right? and he's been remote working or whatever. So he just brings his laptop around, and then he's supposed to do these meetings or whatever. And like, this is like the third time it's happened this month, but one of his coworkers literally gets the second dose of the vaccine. Okay. And she's like, I feel terrible. I'm going to try to make the 3. And then 2:00 rolls around. I can't make the 3. I feel like I'm going to die. None of these people got sick beforehand. And now they can't even show up to a Zoom call after they take their boopin' sauce. I mean, dude, it's madness to me. And then, you know, it's breaking up my family at home. My brother, he's sitting there, and of course he didn't take it. His wife, and listen, hopefully this doesn't get us in trouble, but his wife's doctor, okay? His wife is a teacher. The doctor's kid is one of her students. Straight up, the doctor told my brother's wife, do not get this. This could give you neurological damage. Like, forget about everything else you heard. She said, her doctor said that to her. So, of course, they didn't get it. The grandmother, her mother, decides to get it. Now, the father doesn't want to get it. He feels like they've all been sick, and he had it over a year ago. There's no reason to get it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that, too.
Well, that's how, obviously, my family feels. So the mother goes behind my family's back and tells the father that he won't be allowed to see his grandson on his 3rd birthday at the birthday party unless he gets it. So the guy goes out and gets it. My brother and his entire family got sick, probably from the shedding. And now they don't even want them at the birthday party because, of course, they didn't want her to make him get that. And they think this is crazy. And my brother's like, look, dude, I used to take the kids over there all the time, but they're wearing masks in their house. I go, I can't play pretend anymore. And I go, I know, man.
It's insane. That's insanity. You're wearing masks in your house with your people, like
with your blood. Like, and
it's weird. It's too much. It's too much.
So Weidman.
The fantasy of security and safety.
It's nutty. It's nutty. It's nut
Like
house.
OCD.
Nut house. Well, did you see what they were? Okay, so let's talk about some aspects of the UFC event that maybe people don't know much about. Number one, the first 4 fights.
Couple monstrous kicks.
Well, we'll you know what? I started with Weidman. And yeah, Crute and him, right? Like both those things. The Anthony Smith needed that because Crute was looking pretty good, by the way. But
oh yeah, that's true. Well, I was seeing Rose too. That was three big kicks of the night.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh yeah. That's very true too. Yeah. You're not wrong. Well, the first 4 fights, John, for the early prelims were all Chinese UFC Performance Center fighters. So they were literally all. I mean, that much more under the UFC's thumb. And one of the things that I sent you, man, what happened there? I just got some echo on you. Maybe it's gone. It is. Okay. Corey Anderson is claiming that he made more money in the 2 fights with Bellator than his last 11 UFC fights. Okay? Think about that. 2 fights with Bellator, 11 fights for the UFC. He's made more in those 2 fights.
If he got signed into, because that's what they do. They sign you before you're making waves or before you're anybody for like 8 fights. So if they sign you in at 35 and 35 at $2,000 or $3,000 incremental increase, over 8 fights, like you're fighting for bullshit. And they're not really putting any money into promoting you and pushing you out there. You have to do that all on your own. So like if these guys haven't figured out the marketing shtick of it, then like you're struggling.
Well, that's my point.
Even if you're winning fights, even if you're 10 fights deep with wins,
how much more control do you feel like the UFC has over these fighters that are already heavily controlled by the CCP? And now you got Disney and WME Entertainment and the UFC Performance Center there. I mean, number one, that, and then with these COVID restrictions.
So, man, these guys, First off, the performance center, guys. When is anything free? Right? There's a lesson here. We haven't we learned this yet? Anytime something's free, anytime you get something for free, you are the product. You're what's being sold. You're what's being sold. So they're offering you all this free testing, all this free, nutrition and whatever, all this science. It's going to get paid for somehow. They are selling either that data, the information. They're using what they're collecting against you because now they know your VO2 max. They know how strong you are. They know what your cardio's like. They know all your strengths and weaknesses, and now they get a matchmake who you're going to fight.
Absolutely. Thank you. But people don't get that, man. They don't understand how those little things, especially in the fight game, when you're preparing for a specific opponent and a specific set of skills, how much that inside tape or that inside knowledge of how somebody spars is.
And really, that stuff's smaller than the data, because data is everything right now. Whoever has the data is the one who has control and who's making money. Like they're collecting data from these athletes. They're making them perform for free, and that data is being sold. I don't know how much it's being sold for, what they're doing with it, but that's what's happening. Anytime you're getting a service for free from a company, they're data mining you and they're making a profit. They're making a huge profit. So like it's just, why aren't the athletes being let in on the money being made off of this data? Why shouldn't they be cut in on the pay? Mm-hmm. If they're making hundreds of millions of dollars selling this info to different companies for different reasons, like why shouldn't the fighters be cut in on those deals?
Well, they're not even letting the fighters get cut in on sponsorships on their shorts. They're acting like those Venom outfits are great, and it's like no one would know what Venom was if they weren't either a hardcore MMA fan or an active UFC fan at all. It's not Reebok. Okay, so let's stop with the imagination land. It's all semantics. What are your thoughts on Dana White getting out? He's selling his last $2 billion. Do you think it's just because of this? Yeah.
Like they knew from the beginning what they're doing was illegal. Like they knew. They've always known. This is all the delays in the court process. Everything is just, they milk as much money as they can from it. And even when they lose the case, they've still profited. They've hurt a bunch of people. They've fucked a lot of shit up. They've ruined a lot of things. But they're still going to make their money and they're going to walk away and they're fine. That's just how this dirty business works. So we need to just change the rules, change things up, push them out so like we can actually have an unrestricted market in a real sport and let things run like a real sport and not just a production. It should be more than a production.
And it definitely seems like, they've gone the way of the WWE. I was the one who said that Jorge Masvidal, even
Same
with
business model.
Well, I mean, even with a full camp, they were trying to hype it up like it was going to be a different fight. He's fighting Kamaru fucking Usman. Like for me,
Masvidal, I think he's a big 55 pounder. He's a 55 pounder that wasn't very good at cutting weight.
Yeah. Well, again, he's a great fighter. He's fought top 15 guys, but he certainly didn't re-earn that title shot. And if there's anybody who's looked like they could beat Usman, it would have been Colby Covington. It was smart to have him in the audience. But again, they didn't do a good job of selling Usman as the hero 5 fights ago against a real heel. It was really just like the heel and then the guy that might stop the heel.
Guy.
Yeah, the other guy.
Heel versus the guy who might beat him.
Yeah. It wasn't like they didn't play it up, hero versus heel, or this guy on his way to becoming Anderson Silva level or George St. Pierre level, taking this, you know what I mean? They did a piss poor job at that. But in essence,
I mean, honestly, like I don't know what it is with Usman. He's good, but I don't think he degenerates that from me that he's on that GSP level. I don't think he's had the opponents to lift him up. That's the problem. He's Batman without the Joker. Even Colby being the heel he is, I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, Colby's pretty much it at 170 right now. He's the only other guy that's stringing victories together. Talking to Miletich, he thinks that Robbie Lawler with a full camp might have a chance against Usman because he's so damn powerful, and maybe he doesn't get up from one of those shots. maybe, you see, especially with a guy like Lawler who's come back many times and, you think his chin is gone, but it's not. Maybe like the Amir type. But other than that, I can't think of a lot of guys, at least in the UFC right now, 170, that.
Yeah, I'd like to see Lima. That would be fun.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see Lima too.
That's not possible when we have a production style MMA instead of a sport.
Well, Jones wants $30 million to fight Ngannou.
Well, it should. I mean, man, what are their numbers the same numbers of some of the bigger boxers who are drawing similar gates? I mean, that's the argument. Like, if the eyeballs are there, what's the problem?
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
It doesn't cost more to put on the show. It doesn't cost more for the UFC. We know that because of the internal documents from the class action lawsuit.
But you know what it would do? It would cost them large amounts of profits over the next 20 plus UFCs that they'd have to pay
exactly
people.
What it is.
And
exactly what it is. They would actually have to pay out, a percentage that the fighters actually benefited from. Florida didn't even announce purses, did they?
I haven't heard any of the purses yet.
They're trying to get back to, the commission's not even, releasing purse information.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. Well, let's talk about some of the fights. All right. So really weird, at least main card, Anthony Smith versus Jimmy Crute. Jimmy Crute's looking actually really good in that first round. And then he gets stung with a leg kick. It doesn't look like he checks it.
He would maybe just I don't know, stood back and not walked around for a second.
It was tough though, because when they slowed it down, a lot.
He was trying to pump himself up and walk. He should have just stood on the one leg on the fence and be yeah, I'm fine, let's go, come on.
I think it was totally gone because when you see it, he tries to go step down on it. A few
minutes after, because he was walking around semi-normal a little bit after. I think he just needed to try to milk a little bit more time.
Yeah. Well, maybe if he had gotten the time and shot for a takedown for two, he's kind of going that route at the end of the round anyway. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Trying to be on the ground. And once it got up, it was just weird. Unfortunate. Weidman, Uriah Hall. The only thing I could say about that is Uriah's got to stop almost crying or crying after every fight. Stop it, Uriah. It was unfortunate. We get it. You got your money to show and to win. You should be smiling. You can't go down in the ranks.
It's just brutal. The whole leg thing. Ouch.
How about
the guy William Vander, you helped me with my neck. He says that happens because athletes don't put the nutrients they need back into their body. A lot of the minerals and stuff that we sweat out, we don't put the magnesium and the zinc and all the other stuff back into our bodies. So we develop a lot of early onset osteoporosis type conditions where the bones thin and weaken because we're not putting the stuff back in to our body that it needs to build that stuff back.
So you think that's why we see a lot of these fighters that are post 35 where we're seeing it? You know what I mean?
Because it could be, or I can't remember who was the other guy. I don't know how old he was when he broke his leg.
Corey Hill, you're talking about, right?
Corey Hill, yeah.
I think he was also in his 30s.
Was he in his 30s? Yeah,
he might have been. Yeah,
it's the thing where you have a number of years where you're doing high stress, intense workout type stuff. You're sweating out. You're breaking your body down. If you're not putting those minerals back in, especially in an absorbable way, then the theory is that it's thinning the bones.
The bones, indeed. Now, Rose and Shevchenko. Shevchenko ran through.
Just beast. Took her down, got the position, choked her. It was nice.
Ran through her, did what she was supposed to do. Rose Namajunas comes out, shocks the world with that big kick.
It was a sniper-like kick. It just snapped right in between the elbows, right in a perfect spot on the chin. Bink. Night.
And she came in there. She got the hammer fist off, ended the fight. Wei Ling was upset about it. Nothing to be upset about. Probably more disappointment than anything, realizing you just lost. But, Rose is allowed to cry. She is an emotional woman. I have no problem with that. I'm probably going to, find out that the people that love 87 genders think I'm a pig for saying it, but I don't much mind when someone like Rose cries after. I don't even mind when a guy cries after like a huge achievement. That's fine. It's just Uriah Hall, you're crying a lot. You're crying a lot, dude. That's all I'm saying. Just, calm it down. Just calm it down. And then, of course, you have the main event, right? And like I said, it gives Usman at least a highlight real knockout against a face and a name. Masvidal's got, because I think his performance against Gilbert is more impressive, right? Because he overcame adversity, almost got knocked out. I think Gilbert Burns actually beats Jorge Masvidal, but he doesn't get credit for that. Whereas beating up Street Jesus with the knockout maybe gets him a little more credit with the casual, right?
Especially they'll ride that nobody else knocked him out or hasn't been knocked out in however long or whatever.
Yes, absolutely. Bellator coming up.
They'll ride that
this weekend, and this is what I don't get, man. When we talk about,
it's going to be fun.
You know what? It's they've got such good cards. It's like,
but they don't. Not enough people know about them. Like, what are they doing for advertisement? Or
listen, you've got, first of all, the Archuleta fight's great, right? But most people, unfortunately, don't know who Juan Archuleta is. You're working it off the Pettis name. Okay, great. How about Johnson and Romero? That could headline a pay-per-view. Okay. And most people don't even know your product is on Showtime. What if Corey Hill's making more money in 2 fights than the UFC? Where is your money spent on advertising and production? And where is the pre-show? If you didn't get the UFC model, they give the prelims away for free to as many people as can see it.
They've been doing YouTube prelims.
Yeah, and that's fine. But I hate to tell you guys, that was UFC's fucking model from 7 fucking years ago, guys. It was 7 years ago when the early prelims and the prelims came to fucking YouTube and Facebook. Facebook prelims was the thing very beginning.
YouTube prelims.
Exactly. They got Venom Page on this. Okay. This card is stacked with their guys. They got Patricky Pitbull fighting. Their main card is absolutely 100% stacked, and no one knows. Lorenz Larkin is on the prelims. Come on. That's got Coker. Listen, man, Coker. $40,000 a year gets you a lot with Jason Bermas. Okay, let me tell you something. You give me $40,000, you get me on a phone, give me a little power. We'll have some serious and a budget to do it. We'll have some serious promotions. People will know about these fights. Look at this. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights that you're not putting on any kind of television whatsoever. Even the UFC has broken up the model where 4 of those fights are going to be on some kind of TV. So that's fine. You want your YouTube.
It's got to be. I mean, you got to get these guys seen. You got to get, because the sponsors want to be seen. The people paying for the spots on the mat, the people's on the shorts. They want to be seen. They got to make every fight out there. Put them all out there. Especially in this day and age, man. It can't be that hard to set up somebody's camera phone, record shit, and put it up, or just live stream it.
Mm-hmm. Look, man. Again, it's not. Look, the UFC, as you know, you did a watch along with Bellator. I think that was going in the right direction. But I believe that your watch along with Bellator was before they restarted this year in April, right? Wasn't it sometime in December?
I think so.
Yeah.
The one we did when I went on with Robin Black?
Yeah. It was before the Showtime deal. It was just before that. It's when they were ranging at CBS Sports Network, and we didn't know. They just left Paramount. What was going to happen? I feel like something happened after that where they make this deal with Showtime, but look at the UFC. So I ran into Pulver, right, on Saturday. I'm like, so what are you doing tonight for the fights? Well, the UFC is paying for Jens Pulver to do a watch-along on Twitch with Steve-O. That makes sense. That makes sense. Obviously someone was trying to go in that direction, probably Robin Black, because he's a smart guy. And you're not paying attention, Scott Coker. What are you doing? Get on it, man. I love you, but come on. You're not having live events and you're at an Indian casino. They have their own commission. They have their own rules. You could absolutely fill that place out. The UFC just had 15,000 people in a stadium. The Mohegan Sun holds 10.
Yep.
Like, what are we waiting for? So, in a minute, when we get out of YouTube, because this is going to be too graphic for YouTube, I am going to be showing a shooting that happened in my old town, folks, because things are getting good in New York. This was
great.
Yes, this was by my girls' old school across the street from the Boys and Girls Club where I used to pick them up every day. And this person right here decided to go insane and try to attack his baby mama while she had a 2-year-old baby in her arms with a knife. Says he's going to kill her, tries to grab her, gets them to the ground, and then lunges at the baby and actually grabs the baby before he gets shot. And now, John, they are going to try to make this about defunding the police, even though obviously this is a white man. And they're saying that this guy used excessive force. When I personally know the police officer, okay, I've known him for many years, I'm really not his biggest fan. He did nothing wrong here. He did absolutely nothing wrong. He should be commended. He saved lives. So this is how we're going to do it, YouTube audience. Make the free Rockfin account. Make the free Rockfin account. Make the free Rockfin account because
do it.
We can't show this on YouTube. I don't even want to risk it with this type of material. You saw the warning on YouTube.
Too spicy.
It's too spicy. So rockfin.com/Jason Bermas. Now you can also find Jon Fitch on Rockfin. And I do want to thank everybody who signed up over the last couple of days. Fitch, what do you have going over at Rockfin before we go over there?
Jon Fitch Knows Nothing has been playing on Rockfin for free. I haven't done my cauliflower and cocktail hour in a while. I need to do a new one of those. But I've been working on some Gumroad projects. I have a cardio course coming up, 12-minute bike, get people unfatted. The real way to fight COVID.
Yes, apparently. I mean, let's not get medical misinformation in here. Whoa. The FDA. Yeah, the FDA.
Mean.
Yeah. We'll save that for the other side. So YouTube, it's been real. It's been fun. If you want the rest of the broadcast, it is live and free over at the Rockfin exclusively. So here we go. Yeah, I'm going to just begin it right here where it starts to zoom in. Okay, so you can see the people here in the corner. And why don't we just do this? We'll get out of the way here so everybody can see it. And these people up here in the corner, you're going to see how quick this escalates.
What's the relationship between the people?
So that's that guy's kid. Okay? She's the baby mama.
2-year-old's his baby mama.
That's his baby and baby mama. So let's do it. He literally just grabbed the baby, if you missed it, folks. So for those that might have missed that, they didn't shoot him until he literally grabbed the baby by the leg. And they're trying to say that he didn't need to be shot. He had a butcher knife. He tried to kill them. He said, I'm going to fucking kill her. He grabbed at her. The baby hit the pavement from 3 to 4 feet in the air. And then he grabbed at the baby again. Let's watch it again. If there's any question that this officer, in your mind, did the wrong thing, I don't know what you just watched. That there, again, is a woman with a doll and a baby in her arm. This guy is the baby's father, and within a second of the police approaching, he says, I'm going to fucking kill her. He grabs the baby. Like he grabbed the baby. What world are we living in? Like, forget about like how crazy the brawl with the woman who was obviously about to stab that person. We talked about it last time. Okay.
Yep.
That's a fucking baby that just got dropped on cement that after being told to stop, he lunged for and grabbed and tried to pull towards him with a butcher knife. John, those things don't happen.
It doesn't matter. They're spinning this because that's the goal, right? Defund the police, eliminate police. So then we either have only federal police, Biden's federal police officers they wear rainbow capes, and they're gender non-specific, and you're gonna have private security forces, and you're gonna have no money and poor and live in favelas, and you have to defend yourself with forks and knives, plastic forks and knives.
Dude,
did I tell you about we have like an encampment not close from my neighborhood, right?
Yes.
My housing community shares a wall with this kind of like freeway wall that has a community on the other side of it. Well, the city is no longer cleaning up these areas. Instead, they're putting porta potties and hand washing stations and garbage cans there for them. And you'll see, like, sometimes when you drive around other places that are like this around the city, you'll see like people from the community, people in the neighborhood coming down to clean it up because it's such a hazard. It's a fire hazard. It's a waste hazard. It's just ugly. So like people like take time out of their day to go and like clean up like these camps. And there's, we had meetings, HOA meetings about it, and the city won't do anything about it. So because of COVID, we can't do anything at this time. So to help with the problem, we made it easier for the camps to be there by putting hand washing stations and bathrooms and let's put up some shower facilities and
listen,
food every day.
It's pretty obvious that they're gutting this country. Now, luckily, my governor.
It's not an accident. It's China, man. We're in World War III and China is winning.
Well, it's not even. Listen, China's the model.
I can say that, right? We're on Rockford.
Yeah, we're on Rockford. So China is the model, and you're right. It is. We are in World War III right now. Actually, we're in World War IV. World War III was really the joint effort in the war on terror to take over Eurasia. And Annie Jacobson's new book, First Platoon, is saying pretty much exactly what I've been saying the past couple weeks about that, is that they already set up their DARPA biometric Merc network in that area, and now it's going to come here. So,
it just came to mind, but we were right about the troops or whatever, the mercenaries in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, of course. So she's got a book out there called First Platoon and all these things. So now I'm going to bring it to you next level, bro, because I just heard about this while I was doing my grilling. So I did a little grilling AMA, and one of the audience members said something so ridiculous I didn't think it could be true. But guess what? It might be. So what could this be, John? We get a lot of surprises in this show, right? What could somebody say to Jason Bermas that would be ridiculous even for him? Roger Stone, in this video you're about to watch, is claiming that they possibly tried to drone strike him 2 days ago in America. Are you ready? Guys, I want to let everybody know I'm not endorsing this. I'm just saying that now they're saying this is a gas explosion, and I didn't hear any of this in the media, and I don't know that a gas explosion does this to cars outside a building. That's all I'm going to say. So here he is, Roger Stone, making the claim that he may have been drone striked in America 2 days ago.
Hey, I tried to go live, and I've never had this happen. They keep cutting me off. Roger Stone is here with me. We're 2 doors down from his office. There was a drone strike in America 2 days ago, folks. I'm telling you, this is incredible. Why is this not major news? I'm in Fort Lauderdale. Roger, do you think you were the target?
I don't know. This building is catty-corner from my office. There was an enormous explosion, which is as yet unexplained. Some speculation that it was a drone attack. The valiant fighters in the Broward County Fire Department got it under control, but it took 24 hours to do so.
All right.
As you can see this vehicle's completely
Look at this.
out.
Look at this. Crazy. Drone strike. And I keep going.
They won't even local news about it. There's no.
So, bro, like, come on, I got my finger on the pulse of most of this stuff. At least, people send me stuff, or I know what the claims are. I had heard nothing about this whatsoever. And when somebody said that to me in the thing, and they said it again, I totally expected it to be some weird fake vote video where like something somewhere else happened and someone like put Roger Stone in.
Superimposed.
Yeah.
Like Biden in front of the microphones.
So I ran into my house and I got one of my other phones and I looked it up and I found this video and I'm like, how in the world is this not everywhere on Twitter? Because you know that the Twitter heads must have put this somewhere and I didn't see it. I think we're seeing, again, next level censorship. And again, I don't know that's a drone strike, but it sure doesn't look like a gas explosion either. And what if we're in somewhere?
I've never really seen a gas explosion on that level. Like, like I've never seen a whole building blow up from gas explosion. So I don't know how to be certain.
What if we're dealing with the actual directed energy weapon? So yeah, maybe it's not a drone. Maybe it's a satellite weapon. You know, maybe this is the next level stuff. And, you know, unless you literally had a camera on there, which I would assume in this day and age they may have, we're never really
going to. They're not like 50 fucking CCRTV cameras from somewhere taking a photo of.
In Florida, in Broward County, I would assume that somebody's got something that we haven't seen yet. But then again, I'm sure you saw the big news by now. They just discovered photographs from the Clinton Library of Bill Clinton giving a personal White House tour
to Epstein
and Maxwell together, like their own special tour by Bill Clinton.
Very important people.
And again, we're
VIPs, very important pedophiles.
Look,
very important pedos.
All I know is that's from 1993. It's in the Clinton fucking library. Are you telling me that it just surfaced? If it just surfaced, that should show you how piss poor the mainstream media really is.
Why did it take so long to just surface? Like, it kept getting passed down to people until somebody had the balls to like put it out.
It's in the National Archives. It's at the Clinton Library. Like,
whoops, forgot to get those. Hillary forgot to scrub those.
It's wild. And then on top of all that, they're talking about 2,100 photos in the Ghislaine Maxwell case that are not public, that need to be gone through the lawyers. Now, obviously, a lot of people are speculating whether those are like the blackmail photos or the blackmail tapes or the stuff in the safe. I don't think it's any of that. I think that's already been covered up. I think that these are just regular photos of Epstein and Maxwell with a varying level of different individuals that would fill in some of the blanks, because people would say, oh, this person took a picture with them then and there, and this is the business they were conducting then and there. And really what they're trying to do is not so...
Yeah, but like, what's the strategy between, like, some of the stuff they're letting out, some of the stuff are not? Why are they trickling things out in certain directions? Like, so who's in control? Who's allowing these things to be released, or is due process eventually uncovering things that have been covered up? Is that what's happening?
I'd say this, no. So, like, if you look at it, the only reason Epstein gets arrested is because the New York Police Department finally goes in and gets him, right? And then all of a sudden he doesn't kill himself twice. All right, and the FBI never wanted to cooperate. Bill Barr, very shady throughout. Then they go and they finally raid his Manhattan mansion. Then Maxwell's gone for almost a year before they find her in New Hampshire. They never raid Zorro Ranch. Bill Richardson, the governor of New Mexico at the time, that's named as a pedophile in multiple depositions, has never been arrested. He's a United Nations guy, by the way. He's a big Great Reset guy. He's a big UNESCO guy, by the way. And if you look at where that's located, the Zorro Ranch, that's where he was running his clone operation, apparently. Remember when everybody said, like, it was crazy, and then they found out he had all those women that they were inseminating on Zorro Ranch? And they never... You've seen that story, right?
I think so.
Let's bring it up for those that haven't seen it. So... Zorro Ranch clone farm. Let's just type in clone farm. Jeffrey Epstein. FBI 8,000 acre Zorro Ranch, but they never went there. Let's CBS. Raped and trafficked. Come on, where's the clone farm stuff? You know you want that clone farm. There it is right here. Jeffrey Epstein helped to seed human race with his DNA. Yeah, I mean, again, it took 4 down. Here's a good one. Turned the ranch into a baby-making factory.
So bunch of little Epsteins running around here? Is that
so? Here's the deal.
Are they like Chinese Epstein monkeys?
Thank you.
Somewhere.
Thank you. Now you're getting it, John. Who knows what the fuck they were implanting these women with? Whether it was just other people or clones of other people, maybe for their organs later. I certainly don't think it was Epstein trying to create an army of Epstein clones, as they're saying. But these women were being inseminated, and they were having babies, and it was a baby-making farm. And it's not the only place that was happening. So that's
has anybody found any of these babies or these women that may have the babies?
That's what I'm saying. Where are they? Where are they? You think the
Superheroes
FBI doesn't know? You think the FBI doesn't know where the baby farm is? Come on. Of course they know. Of course they know. It's just like, again, Maria Farmer went to the goddamn police and FBI in 1996. He didn't get arrested again until 2008, John. And then he got off. And then he got a sweetheart deal where he was literally leaving the jail and going to private homes and having sex with underage girls while he was in jail.
For having sex with underage girls.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And then after that, in 2008, he's taking pictures with people like Bill Gates. And by the way, Whitney Webb right now doing a big piece on the connections between Jeffrey Epstein and Elon Musk, because the media is just pushing Elon Musk like he's the best thing since breakfast, like we're going to Mars. It's all bullshit. We're not going to Mars. Let me repeat it. We're not going to fucking Mars.
Yeah, he's their new sweetheart.
Dude, we're not going to fucking Mars, okay? You know what? I may play this video because I haven't played it yet on the show. Let me see if I can find it. I first of all, Biden.
I think didn't China and Russia announce that they're building their own space station?
Well, I don't know about that one.
Separate from us or something?
That one I'm not quite sure about. Okay, here we go. Hold on, we're bringing this up.
How many of you get emails about crowdsourcing, right?
Hold on.
It's like, this is the latest discussion.
All right. So I want you to see this gentleman here. This is Dennis Bushnell. Okay, this guy is the dude that said that we need to maybe institute a little population control, John. He said that we might have to create designer humanoids on the Earth. He said in 2011 we'd already put 10,000 brain chips in human beings. And this is a conference, I believe, from 2016. Now, this one guy, hold on, I know where I want to be, right about now, is about to talk about predictions they made, okay? And one of them is going to Mars. And the gentleman next to him, who's the head of engineering at NASA, thinks that's real funny, John. Watch.
In 1964, Ted Gordon and Olaf Helmer actually published a book. It was a report on long-term forecast, it was called. And it got a lot of attention, got some things right, predicted things like oral contraceptives and lightweight materials. They got some things really wrong, like landing people on Mars. But I was always fascinated by this process. And when I went to the Environmental Protection Agency in the late 89, early 90s, I set up a future study.
He's still laughing right there. It's like literally the guy just mentions we're supposed to land on Mars, and the chief of NASA laughed his ass off to the point where they had to zoom away from him. Like, think that guy has been the chief of NASA since the Apollo missions. Let me go back for people. Just think about how much this guy's laughing in your fucking face right now. Okay, let's go back because I don't want people to take it out of context. Literally the moment, look at this guy's fucking face. Literally the moment the dude says we were supposed to be on Mars, this guy is a chuckle fest.
Right, predicted things like oral contraceptives and lightweight materials. They got some things really wrong, like landing people on Mars. But I was always fascinated by this process. And when I went to the Environmental Protection Agency in the late 89,
And he's looking over.
early 90s, I set up a...
So what does that mean? Here's the
Hey,
case.
it could have been that he was pulling the knife out of his heart.
I don't. Yeah,
That
maybe.
he wanted to go to Mars, but like maybe he was a believer in going to Mars at some point. And he's laughing at himself.
That's the same man, John, that's telling you that you and me are going to live in a virtual world where we can visit Mars, but we'll never actually go there. I have him on tape saying that. He's the guy that's been around since the Apollo missions. He's the guy since 2001 that's been touring with that DARPA Future of Warfare document we went over. Listen, I get what you're saying there, and I'll say this. It could be, one, it's a big joke. We're never fucking going to Mars. Two, we've been to Mars many fucking times, and he thinks it's hilarious that we think we haven't, right? Or three, it's a combo pack of whatever, and it's a big front to militarize space, right? And have this like unattainable carrot that we need to get off world to save the species, and Mars is the only way. All I know is the guy wasn't fucking making a comedy bit when he said that. And you notice when the predictions that they did get right, what did he say first? Oral contraceptives. These people are obsessed with population control. They can't get enough of it. Oh, Fitch, one good story here that we should probably end on before we wrap it up that I think is good, and I'm hoping the lawsuits are coming. Let's go, more lawsuits. So the Daily Mail is suing Google. Okay, I did a story on it earlier this week for unfair business practices, saying they're hiding some of their stories, which they are, okay? And now Roku says they may drop YouTube TV from their devices because of anti-competitive behavior. They not only need to do that, all the devices need to get rid of YouTube, and they need to sue them for anti-competitive behavior. We haven't had that in years. Think about it. The last time the Securities and Exchange Commission went after big tech, it was Bill Gates in the 90s, and they didn't even go full force. As soon as Bill Gates said he would join the CFR, they said, we'll drop it. Okay, Billy. Okay, start your NGOs.
The biggest problems we have in our country right now are the fact that we have so many monopolies. We're not enforcing any of our antitrust laws. It's gross.
It's unbelievably disgusting. It's over the top. So, folks, I do want to remind everybody, coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend, we're 11 days away, Caged Aggression. We got double night of fights. We will be having people there. There'll probably be, I think max capacity right now is about 900 people. I would hope that maybe we can get 1,500. Man, James Dunn, bloodied face, won that fight in a knockout. Great stuff. I'll be calling those fights with Pulver and Hinman. And then the next day on Sunday is when we're doing the maskless Mother's Day picnic. Again, totally free of charge. Guys, you can get cage side here, I think, for like $70. And there's not a bad seat at the house at $35. Please consider coming on down. There is a pay-per-view. You can find everything Jon Fitch at jonfitch.net. Tell them what you got going on, John.
Yeah, sign up for the newsletter. I got one coming out soon. And then I'm working on my basic 12-minute bike cardio. You unfat yourself with some high-intensity interval training.
You know, John, I was at the Salvation Army.
I am available for seminars, too. Things are opening up, so
we got to get you out into Iowa.
Too.
We got to get you out into Iowa. We got to get you on the Caged Aggression event, and fucking I need to get on one of those goddamn bikes because I saw one being sold at the Salvation Army. And get on the program. I don't know what's going on in the Grueling Truth. I think maybe they're redesigning the website. Oh, there we go. Good. It came back up. But that's where you're going to find the audio version of this podcast after every show. I do want to thank everybody for their support over on Rockfin. 15,347 strong over there. If we do it right, guys, the next couple months, I don't get kicked off of other social media, we could have 20,000 followers over there and make Rockfin an even stronger platform for free speech, and believe me, we need it now more than ever.
Just good, wholesome entertainment.
Good, wholesome entertainment. Fitch, I'll see you next week, brother.
All right, man. Check you later. Check you all later, too.
All right, later on.